But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. Well, come on, man. That kid was a cakewalk.
Wrong, nigga wrong. Canelo always has had a problem with boxers. He always struggles when he fights a boxer. Anybody knows that if you can box and take a punch, you gonna give him a hard time. Bud is not one of these guys that's gonna quit.
Bud Crawford soundly defeating Canelo Alvarez. We thought that maybe he could have won by even a further margin on the scorecards. He gets it done unanimously. Teddy, can you put into words what we just saw from Terence Crawford?
Well, the only thing I wonder is if Crawford was born and made in a laboratory.
Floyd Mayweather mocked Canelo Alvarez after his loss to Terence Crawford, saying Canelo is no longer the fighter he once was and that his reputation has always been overrated. Mayweather revealed that he had confidence in Crawford from the start, backing it up with a large bet that paid off handsomely. An account even shared the betting slip, noting that Mayweather walked away with big winnings after placing $50,000 on Crawford. Despite the defeat, Canelo remained composed, acknowledging Crawford's skill and calling him a great fighter who earned the win. He also made it clear that he is far from finished, stressing that he feels physically strong and mentally ready for the future. By expressing openness to a rematch, Canelo showed that his fighting spirit and determination to protect his legacy remained to Terence Crawford's dominant win, praising him highly. He tweeted, "I actually believe Crawford may be the best fighter of all time," noting that Crawford's performance showcased exceptional skill and mindset. For Garcia, this victory elevates Crawford into a legendary category, a level of greatness rarely seen in boxing history. Veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas analyzed the fight, comparing it to Canelo Alvarez's earlier loss to Floyd Mayweather. He argued that Canelo has always struggled against faster, sharper opponents, with footwork and hand speed remaining weaknesses. Atlas explained that Crawford, despite a year of inactivity, came prepared and hungry, using precise timing and movement to neutralize Canelo's power just as Mayweather once did. He emphasized that this result highlights Canelo's limits against elite technical fighters while adding another chapter to Crawford's growing legacy.
From the beginning, that if you go back, and I know it was a lot of years ago, I get it, but you have to have something to point at. If you go back to when he lost his first fight, of course, Canelo I'm talking about, to Mayweather, it wasn't just that his hands were too slow, his feet were too slow. And he's in there with a guy with quick feet and quicker hands. You know what? It doesn't matter how big he is. What did Ali say? Your hands cannot hit what your eyes cannot see. That was tonight. It was great.
Let's put some context on this.
It was great.
Let's put some context on this victory first. A year out of the ring. I think it was like 13 some odd months out of the ring, okay?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. 2 weight classes. Think about that.
Yep.
He had surgery early at the beginning of the year. Surgery on the shoulder surgery, right? Not sure which one. And to come in here and to put on that type of performance against Canelo that actually is coming off a performance, right? You expected Canelo to be sharp. He was sharp. However, what Crawford did was he took the air out of the ball.
Yep.
He used this. That's what boxing's about, people. It's about this. Strategy. That's what he had. He used his feet. He understood Canelo every single movement. That's why Canelo couldn't land any shots on him. He knew what was coming. He knew that the looping right hand was going to come from the southpaw position. So what did he do? Hold the phone. He knew that the hook to the body was going to come. What did he do? Block, and he shot up with counters.
One of his great assets that we don't hear about enough. One of those things that are not so easily as immeasurable on paper, but it's eyes. Vision,
focus.
We know the physical ones we talk about and we understand so easily. Speed, power, quickness, legs, all that stuff. But eyes, radar. This guy's got infrared.
Sports journalist Ariel Helwani quickly shared the official result on social media, confirming what many viewers already sensed. He tweeted that Terence Crawford defeated Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision 116-112. 115-113, 115-113. The scores reflected Crawford's consistent control throughout the fight, even though the rounds were closely contested. Helwani's update spread fast, highlighting that Crawford had made history by overcoming one of boxing's most famous champions. The numbers showed this was not just a win but a disciplined, calculated performance that cemented Crawford's place among the sport's elite. Teofimo Lopez, known for his own bold style in the ring, praised Crawford's achievement, noting that the fight featured 2 of the world's best and that the right man prevailed. Lopez argued that Crawford now belongs in the top 10 all-time greats, emphasizing how his composure, execution, and style set him apart. Such recognition from an active champion underscores the significance of Crawford's victory and its impact on the boxing community.
In terms of his prime, how can you gauge it?
Doesn't matter. We saw a great fight tonight, did we not? That's all that matters. Two guys risked it, and the better man won tonight. That was Crawford.
Terence got it right. Is there no need for a rematch, or do you want to see running back? Because it was pretty good, like you said.
No, it was pretty, it was really good, actually. Yeah. So it's up to the jam. He's a jam. He can do whatever he wants.
What do you think happens with Canelo next after this?
What happens to Canelo after this? It don't matter. He's made a big statement for not only Mexico or the pride of Mexico, but for all Latinos right there. So he's done a great job for himself, man. Nevertheless, Crawford is on his way, continuing to create greatness.
Mentally.
What's up?
You fought it for Crawford earlier. What did you see that make you fall in like that?
I know boxing. I just know stylistically. I've been in the gym with, I've shared the ring with Canelo, and then I see that. So
they were saying that if he beats Canelo, it could put him as even the greatest of all time. What does that put him in the all-time list, man?
At least top 10.
At least
top 10 or top 15. Yeah. Easily, you know. There's guys that we may not know of or heard of, like Henry Armstrong. Simultaneously, he was 3 divisions carrying all 3 weight divisions at the same time.
Which performance was better? I don't like to compare them, but Crawford or Mayweather's over Canelo. Like it's just different.
It's just different styles, different looks. Yeah. You know.
At the post-fight press conference, Canelo Alvarez was asked to compare his experiences facing Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. His answer quickly caught attention, as he singled out Crawford's performance. Canelo said Crawford impressed him more, especially in the later championship rounds where control and precision are crucial. He stated, "I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather." The bold remark both praised Crawford and sparked debate among fans about how these two boxing legends truly compare in history.
In the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
After the loss, speculation about Canelo Alvarez's future began to grow. His comments and behavior suggested he might be considering retirement, especially as Crawford's win shifted the spotlight in boxing. The fight was seen as one where Crawford outclassed Canelo, using intelligence and adaptability to control the ring and claim the title. This victory is already being called historic, with Crawford recognized as one of the greatest fighters of his generation. For Canelo, the defeat raises questions about whether his reign at the top is over, while for Crawford, it cements his status as the new face of modern boxing.
Was going to create history. I told you guys this before he fought Sean Porter. I said that Terence "Bud" Crawford can beat first ballot Hall of Famer and superstar and legend Canelo Alvarez. I've been saying this for years, that Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. And tonight, he did just that. He did just that. Not only did he beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, but he arguably retired Canelo Alvarez, who after the fight, Canelo Alvarez stated that he's done everything that he needed to do in the sport of boxing. When asked do he want a rematch with Terence "Bud" Crawford, Canelo Alvarez said, "It's no need." He gave no indications of a rematch. And Canelo Alvarez stated that he's a Hall of Famer, he's a winner, just being there made him a winner, right? And he stated that he's done everything he needed to do in the sport of boxing. That's what he said. Canelo Alvarez got schooled once again. I told you guys, styles make fights. This style, this particular style of boxers and counterpunchers and movers has historically given Canelo Alvarez problems. And as I told you guys, right? Terence Crawford can fight any which way he chooses to fight. He's just that much more versatile. And everybody didn't believe me. They said I was tripping. Canelo was too big. He gonna knock out Terence Crawford, right? He too big, too strong. Terence Crawford get hit. Terence Crawford don't box, don't move. And I told you guys, when Terence Crawford wants to move and wants to box, right, he can. And he would, right? And guess what? Terence Crawford, I told you guys, when he fought the likes of Victor Postol, right? Y'all said that, oh, he don't move that much. I said, did you look at his fight with Victor Postol? Did you look at his fight with Jose Benavidez? Yeah, well, those guys ain't Canelo Alvarez. And I told you guys, it doesn't matter if they're Canelo Alvarez. It's about Terence Crawford's ability to be able to maneuver around and box in every which manner he so chooses. If he wants to incorporate that style that he boxes and moves, he could. And what did he do tonight? I said Terence Crawford could fight at every level. Didn't I tell you guys that? I said Terence Crawford can fight in mid-range. He could fight on the outside. He could fight on the inside. Canelo Alvarez cannot. Y'all asked me, why aren't you talking about what Canelo Alvarez could do great? And I told you, because we know what Canelo Alvarez is going to do. He's going to fight. He's consistent in who he is and how he fights. Period. I told you guys that.
Boxing legend Andre Ward quickly put Crawford's performance into perspective, calling it a historic win and a generational fight fans will remember for decades. Ward explained that bouts like this define careers and distinguish great fighters from legends. He was impressed by Crawford's ability to break down Canelo while remaining disciplined throughout the fight, highlighting the value of ring intelligence and composure. Ward framed the victory as a GOAT moment, effectively placing Crawford in the conversation among the greatest fighters ever and emphasizing the significance of what happened in the ring.
Seeing Terence Crawford create greatness and beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, what was your thoughts on that performance from Terence?
From Terence Crawford, it's great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight. And he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turki Al-Sheikh for putting it together. Just a great, great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people called me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years and still being successful, not having to do that. His condition seemed impeccable, and his strength was there. The power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So what more can I say?
What would you like to see him do next? Do you think there's another fight after this?
I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge. We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked. What else are we doing?
Reacted with pride and excitement. He called Crawford one of the greatest, a label young fighters rarely use unless the performance truly warrants it. Davis praised how Crawford executed his strategy flawlessly, never allowing Canelo to find a rhythm. For him, the fight wasn't just a victory, but a demonstration that true greatness comes from skill, intelligence, and hard work. His response showed how much this win resonates with the next generation of fighters aiming to follow in Crawford's footsteps.
What's up, bro?
5, baby.
Yes, sir.
5 out here, my boy.
What do you think made the difference?
Back in that ring, King.
The speed, really.
Yeah.
I think it was the main factor. Canelo couldn't really keep up with him. He was too fast. His feet, footwork was too good.
Do you think the scores was right on, or do you think maybe it was a little more towards Bud?
What was the scorecards?
115, 113, 116, 112.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I feel like Bud damn near basically went every round. So
yeah,
honestly. But yeah, that's about right. You can say that.
Now with this accomplishment, Keyshawn,
Is he on the Mount Rushmore of
Hell
boxers?
yeah. Yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah?
3-time undisputed. He just beat Canelo.
Yeah.
The face of boxing. So now you can say Bud is the face of boxing.
Greatest of all time, or?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it can never be one great, but he definitely one of the greatest of all time for sure.
He questioned how any judge could have awarded 5 rounds to Canelo, noting that Crawford was the more effective fighter throughout. Lewis pointed out that Canelo has always struggled against highly mobile opponents, and Crawford's agility proved decisive once again. While he admitted he had hoped for more explosive exchanges, he still acknowledged the technical brilliance on display. His critique highlighted both the weaknesses in Canelo's style and the importance of Crawford's adaptability in neutralizing the Mexican champion's offense.
Let me tell you, great fight. I was hoping that there was more action coming from Canelo. You know, I'm used to Canelo fighting that way all the time. He tried his best. He always has trouble against movers. I was really expecting them to be more punches, more movement by Canelo. What can you say?
This reminds me of the point that Jaya Patai made yesterday, and you picked up on it. He said he's coming in with all his belts. Terence looks like he's still hungry, and Canelo looks like he's whining and dining in his success. Do you think that might be the difference tonight?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it was a little bit of difference. The cat has got really fat, so he tried his best. I've seen Canelo box about many times, and I thought that this time he just boxed like he always boxes. And then I felt he couldn't really do nothing against Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford was too quick, too elusive. Anybody would find trouble with him, but Canelo couldn't find him.
The scorecards were 2 red, 115, 113. Were they right with the cards?
It was for Canelo to win a round. I say he won about 3 rounds in that fight. I was actually amazed at the way how Terence Crawford moved and never got hit, and threw combinations, because that's what you're supposed to do, throw combinations. So he threw combinations. He wasn't trying to knock out Canelo, but he definitely was throwing a lot of punches, a lot of combinations.
By what he saw, he praised Crawford's victory as a masterful display of skill, patience, and strategy. Jones noted that Canelo has often struggled against opponents who use speed and movement, and Crawford exposed that weakness once again. For him, this wasn't just a win, it was a dismantling of Canelo's usual approach, leaving the champion without answers. His remarks reinforced the view that Crawford's performance was not only dominant but also technically brilliant, clearly showing who the superior fighter was that night.